Hey, Tracy here. Thank you for joining me today. We continue our series on the High Priestess. Remember, she is ruled by the moon, or just tied in with the moon, as evidenced by the moon on her card and her moon crown. The moon, so back up. So the sun is an outward expression of ourself, our ego, where we shine, who we are. The moon is the complement to the sun, so they're both equally important. So the moon is our inner self, the sun is our outer self. The moon is our emotional landscape, how we experience the world and how our emotions are flavored. It's also represented by our mothers and how we, not necessarily how our mothers are, but the emotional landscape of how we feel that our mother was. So, for example, my moon is in Sagittarius, and I thrive on Sagittarius themes. My ascendant is also in Sagittarius, so I've got a lot of that energy. Um, but I need freedom, expansion. I like the truth. I like higher knowledge. I love philosophy. I want to, like, again, with my Aquarius, I want to like really kind of dig deep and find out more and put things together and think on a broader scale. And so for me, my emotional landscape growing up with my mother was freedom. I needed to be free to explore, to do my own thing. And for example, my daughter has a Capricorn moon, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So it's very structured. So she needs, where I'm very wide open and free, my fire energy is just, woo, let's go. She needs me to bring that down and be more structured and disciplined with my mothering style. Fortunately for me, her North Node is a Sagittarius, so I've got to kind of ease her into trusting and flowing and just kind of giving up control a little bit. So there is a little bit of balance there for me, thank goodness, because I, don't love Capricorn energy. I don't love that structure and that 3D that the Capricorn brings, but that's okay. There is a balance, so it is. So not to digress, but that's kind of how the moon landscape works. The moon is, and the chart, so in our natal chart, there's houses. So where our moon falls in our natal chart also corresponds to where we seek that emotional fulfillment the most as well. So it also rules the dreams. It, again, going back to the High Priestess, remember, she is the keeper of the subconscious. She knows what our true inner desires are. You can say, well, I'm fine with this and I'll do this, I want to do this. But deep in your heart, you may know that's not for you, or that you don't truly want to do this. You want to do this over here. So all of that's your emotion. So, and the moon rules all that. It's kind of the lower octave of Neptune, because Neptune is more of the higher spiritual, the collective connection to spirit, and the moon is our own personal, more so. And the moon has such a fast rotation, it takes 28 days to move through the zodiac and go through each sign, representing that our emotions are fluid. Our emotional landscape is not something that stays rigid and structured, never changing. We know we can be angry 1 second, and then somebody can do something silly and maybe make us laugh out of that. So, our emotions are always changing. And the moon cycle, she moves the fastest through the zodiac. So she reminds us of that. Like, that emotions are always constantly changing, and she's moving through all the signs very quickly. So today she may be in Taurus, then the next day she's in Gemini, and a couple days later she's going into Cancer. So we're all hitting those aspects of our emotion and getting the flavor very quickly and how they affect us. So the moon's a very lovely card. It or very lovely planet or rock. It's considered a planet. We know that the moon is not really a planet, but in astrology it acts like a planet. So it, the sun gets a lot of focus, but the moon is equally important. Again, it's the sun is the yang energy, our outward expression, but the yin is just as important. We cannot go all the time, because we've seen throughout history when we focus on going and we don't pause to reflect and see what our true needs are, people suffer. We have seen throughout history that it just kind of screws everything up when we, kind of poo-poo on people's feelings, or we don't let them express those feelings and we are asking them to bottle things up. It just never goes well, because the moon is an equal partner to the sun. She is our mother energy. She's the feminine to the masculine, and we have to, again, we've all got both. We all have to have both. We didn't come in to incarnate from just a father. We came in through the mother. So she is just as important. So if not more so, because we have to align with our emotions to get where we need to go, and trust that inner nudge and inner wisdom, and listen and pull back. And that's one of the problems with society over the last, thousands of years, is we focus so much on the masculine energy to just go, we've got to strive for this, da, 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 da. And we have failed to truly ask people what they need to feel supported and encouraged, and what they truly need as they come in their emotional landscape. And we can look around and say, oh, yeah, these people, this person did not get the support they need, and they came in for this purpose with these gifts, but they were forced to do this, and they're miserable, because it's just as important. Your innermost desires are kind of who you are. We all came with all these wonderful gifts in this life, and if you were in a family that said, well, nope, I don't care that you're an artist, you can't make money as an artist, so you can't do that, and we've got this family business, so you've got to do this, it kind of dampens and suppresses the emotions, and then it often explodes, or you kind of take the light out of people. So it's very important to feel our emotions and sit with them. And that's another thing with people. There's so many angry people, and they're blaming all these other people for their anger. They shouldn't do this and they shouldn't do that. Those people don't feel their emotions. If they would just ask themselves, why do I feel so angry at all these people? Well, usually there's trauma inside that they're missing, that they need to heal. So it comes with meditation, because again, spirit's often very soft. Sometimes spirit can be loud, but usually, our intuition comes in a little soft. It whispers, kind of nudges us where to go. It's not forceful. We're just kind of softly guided, and we can see and trust the guidance where we need to step and follow the path. And so that comes from sitting and truly feeling our emotions, listening and watching our dreams, what we truly desire in life, and working to manifest those. And so as we go through our life, there are times that we have to do the sun, masculine, yang energy, where we're go, 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 it's time to act. But then we have to stop and pause, again, with the High Priestess, and we have to listen to integrate the next steps of our journey of where to go to get where we want to go. We cannot always rush forward and not pause, because then it just makes things way more complicated. We might not truly get where we want to go, or we're going to push forward. And it's just, you can't push the energy. Energy just flows in the path of least resistance. So you don't want to push energy. You want to stop and listen, pause, and feel within your body, your soul, however you receive your intuition, so you can move forward in the best way for yourself, for whatever you need. So the moon rules that, and she is that mother energy. She's nurturing, she's kind, she just wants to just love and support, and it's the emotional landscape of our incarnation, which is the moon. So again, that's how it ties into the High Priestess, the moon. If you need help figuring out where the moon is in your chart, how it relates to you and the house and everything like that, please feel free to comment, leave me a message. But happy to walk you through that. But yeah, the moon is just as important as the sun. It's exactly an equal component of who we are. Now, again, in your chart, your moon may have aspects that flavor your emotional landscape. Again, my moon is conjunct Uranus. And again, Uranus is my chart, or my sun, the ruler of my sun, and it squares it. So my moon already is a freedom loving sign with Sag and expansion. Well, then it also has that Uranus flavor of, again, more freedom, rebellion. It wants to just go and be and explore and think of all these new ways to do things, and that kind of, so my moon has that flavor, and I've got some squares. So, the point being, your moon will probably have some aspects that flavor your emotional landscape, but your moon and how it relates to you is very important in your chart, whether you feel like you relate to your moon or not. Again, depending on your aspects, you could say, well, I don't feel like I'm this kind of moon, but it all kind of ties in together. And then some people have their sun and their moon, so everything's very meshed together and works well, and they have the same goals in this life. So it does depend, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to help, figure out how your moon and sign and how your emotional landscape is and things like that. But yeah, so that was the moon and how she relates to the High Priestess and tying those in together. So next I will be doing a meditation on the moon and the High Priestess, and then I will be doing a yin yoga class, which, if you're not as familiar, you've got your normal vinyasa flow. It's faster pace. It's that yang yang energy where you're going. The yin energy slows it down. We move slower. We're holding the poses for a lot longer. So we'll be focusing on that to tie that in, so you can truly kind of feel, because it often brings things up when you're sitting. And, again, we hold things in our body. So the yin poses will hold those in, and you kind of have to breathe through the discomfort, the stillness, and fully be present in the flow. So more to come on that. And thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening on the moon. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.